Whoa.
What's up, Amp?
Hey, man.
Hey, you got a nice
Welcome.
background. What's up, guys?
I know
Can
you too.
everybody see us? If
Yeah,
you can see us, maybe just leave a comment and say hello. We'll wait for everybody to kind of log on.
This is such a cool thing. I might have to start using this. StreamYard.
Yeah, this is awesome. Amp, where are you right now? Why don't you tell everybody where you're at?
I'm in LA. Well, okay. Yeah, LA is. So I'm out here. It's like 90 degrees. Probably gonna try to go swimming or something.
Nice, looks beautiful.
Just kind of enjoy this weather. What about you?
So I'm logging in from Guam. I've actually been in Guam for the last 3-4 months, and it's beautiful here. Just enjoying life during these crazy times.
Yeah.
But let's see, are we live? Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like it. Looks like we're good.
We are?
All right, so, yeah, I think we're live, so everybody can see us. What's up, guys?
How's the weather in Guam?
It's beautiful. Oh man, I love the island life. You know, every day.
I see you showing your muscles, so it must be hot.
Every day is pretty much the same temperature. Sun's always shining. Water is amazing. So during this crazy time, it's actually a pretty nice place to be.
Yeah.
So what's up? As everybody's logging in, you know, I'm Eric and Amp. Obviously, you guys know about Unified Highway and the new album Headlines, which comes out tomorrow. I want to thank all you guys for being down with Unified Highway for a while. Yeah. I just want to thank you guys for being so patient, because me and Amp were hyping up this second album for a long time, and you guys were just waiting and waiting, and finally it's coming out. It's coming out tomorrow, so we're excited.
Oh man, it's so many people logging on. Canada, Berkeley, Albuquerque. What's up, Dominic Hess? Hey, you guys ask us some questions, man. You guys like live right now.
Nice.
What's the questions?
All right.
Orange County. Oh yeah, that's right. You like both the songs?
Hey, love from Berkeley. Shout out to the Bay Area. That's home.
All right. So first question: What have you been both up to personally during this pandemic? All right.
Yeah. Well, I've been making a lot of music. I've been at home just I've been here in Guam, and I set up my little recording station. I've just been trying to write as much as possible. You know, I think it's really important that we all are safe and healthy and really considerate. It's important that we all stay home. And, you know, even though I think this virus might not be as effective on someone younger, it's important that we look out for the people that are older, the people that are more susceptible to being sick. And my heart really goes out to the people that are in need right now. I think what I've really learned is that to count your blessings. You never know. You never know what life might bring. Life is short, and we need to make the most of it. So this is a constant reminder to just be thankful for what you have, and also to look out for friends and family. Like, I can't tell you what a reminder this has been to really stay in contact with my friends and family, and you guys too. I want to let you guys all know that, you know, you guys are all loved. And the greatest part for us is we get to show through the music, like the way we feel. I also think that this album Headlines it's incredible, like how relevant it is to today. Every day I feel like I look at the headlines, I see something different, and it makes you wonder, like, what's truth? What is just propaganda? What are they trying to feed you? You know, we came out with a song called The Truth, and it came out at the most incredible time, because we're constantly force-fed all this different information. You have to sift through what's real, what's fake. And, you know, I think the bottom line is look out for your friends and family, look out for your community. That's what you can do right now, and be a voice of encouragement. You know, for me, I always want the music to be encouraging. I want people to feel motivated and inspired to do good amongst like their peers, their friends and family, and their community. So I just hope that you guys are doing the same, staying healthy and happy. Amp, what about you? Tell us what you're going through.
I mean, same thing, man. It's hard having a family. You got to be like a teacher, a parent, and like a music producer at the same time. So that's been tough. But yeah, I I feel like things are kind of opening back up. So the people who are able to get through this, should feel blessed. And prayers out to the people who really suffered from what's happened. But yeah, I mean, I'm just glad to be here and glad to be able to give you guys some music during this time to hopefully make things better. Because
Yeah,
that's what really being a professional musician is all about, is sharing your talent and your music with people to make some kind of change.
yeah.
Dude,
Listen, I feel like a really blessed person. I get to play music. We both get to play music for a living, right? We get to do what we love to do. But I know that there's a lot of people out there that are suffering. Just the fact that we can do this and you guys can tune in, we can talk about music, talk about this new album. I think we're all really blessed. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are going through some really difficult shit right now. So I think it's important for us, everybody here, to be there for them, to be a voice of encouragement. So the greatest part about all this is you guys have some new music to listen to tomorrow when this album comes out. Amp, what do you say we talk about this album a little bit?
Yeah, man. Let's talk about the story behind it and how we kind of made it.
For sure. Well, maybe I could talk about like how we first met. I mean,
Yeah.
as you guys know, Revolution and Zai and I toured a lot back in the day. Our very first tour was in 2010 with a band called Soja. It was Zai and I, Soja, and Revolution. One of the best tours that we've ever been on, right, Amp? And,
yeah, it was pretty fun.
And at that point, me and Amp quickly realized that we work really well together. Amp Live started producing for some Revolution songs. The first song I think we did was Route Around. Amp Live also produced a song called Lost in Dreams. And then also like Revolution was featured on some of the Zai and I stuff. But we always talked about doing an album together. And we had a lot of similarities, both kind of coming up in the Bay. And we got together at my house. We created the first album relatively quickly. And we just did most of it like at my house. And then you guys seemed to love it. And we're like, man, this is so much fun. We got to do a second album. Even though the second album took a little bit of time, it's here. Yeah. So, but
I mean, this album, one of the things behind it was, for one, we had so much success on the first album. And after performing it and like really seeing how people are reacting, we were like, okay, we kind of see what's happening now. We're seeing how people are kind of vibing with what we're both doing, what we're both bringing to this music. So let's really dial in and make something that's like, kind of focused. And I feel like with this album, we definitely wanted to be more upbeat. We wanted to have a straightforward message. And we wanted to be something that the fans would really just dig and kind of be a little bit more straight to the point. So that's what kind of happened. Even though there was a delay in between like recording, when we come together, we would do like really big stuff. And I think that made it really fun.
Yeah. Well, I noticed there's a lot of questions coming in.
Yeah, let's answer some of these. Let's try to be fast with it.
Yeah. So someone asked, what do you enjoy about working together? And similarly, what challenges do you face? Well, I know I love working with Amp Live because, man, you make some crazy beats, stuff that I wouldn't normally come up with. Sometimes you'll send me something and I'll be like, this is crazy. I don't know if I can like even write to this. And then all of a sudden I'll come up with something over the top of it, and it creates the unified highway sound. So
yeah,
I just, I love working with people that see things differently. Maybe hear a drum beat differently, hear a time signature slightly differently, or like an intro or something. And Amp Live's that person. So I think the reason why we work well together is because we're so different. Amp, you've turned me on to some music that I wouldn't normally listen to, and I think I've done the same with you too, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, so, at this point in my career, I just like working with people I vibe with. And Eric and I, from the start just kind of just had a good vibe and stuff. So it's not hard working with you at all. And you know, you add the talent on top of that. It's just like I could get a track and I know you're gonna write something tight to it. And that really is just like that goes leaps and bounds, you know. So I just think like it's just a natural connection there. You kind of let me do my thing and then you will it back if you really have a
Yeah.
problem with something, and then I do the same. And like, you know, I grew up listening to a lot of dance hall and some reggae, but since I met you guys, working at Revolution and just being around you guys, you taught me a lot about like reggae music and especially making it, you know. So I've had, you know, about 10 years in the making at this point. So yeah, I think we just complement each other. And that's really
Yeah.
important, you know, when
Yeah.
you're making music, honestly.
And you know what? That kind of goes into a question that a couple people just asked. How did you come up with the name Unified Highway? And you know, it kind of touches on the fact that me and you have different roads to get to where we are today, and everybody does.
Yeah.
Coming together makes something incredibly special. That's why I've always been such a big advocate for diversity. It creates something unique, something different, something cool, a different sound, right? And that goes for like almost all aspects of life. Like I'm all about fusion, like whether it's like fusion, like cuisine or fusion music, something different, right? And listen, I know that like reggae and hip hop and maybe electronic has been fused before, but I really do think that Unified Highway has a unique sound, right? So we kind of felt like, I don't know, Unified Highway was the perfect name that just summarizes like our paths and kind of the sound and where we are today.
Eric, somebody wants to know how much you're influenced by Bob Marley.
Well, definitely influenced by Bob Marley. I wouldn't call him my main reggae influence. I always talk about Don Carlos and Black Uhuru being my main reggae influence. I guess when I heard Bob Marley growing up, I didn't really think about it as reggae just because it was such a unique sound. It was so characteristic of just Bob Marley. Like nobody else in the reggae genre sounds like Bob Marley. So I kind of felt like it was difficult, and difficult to replicate what he was doing, nor did I want to. I just kind of put him in a different class altogether. I think a lot of people do that. But what I liked about Don Carlos and other kind of reggae from that era was I found that it was something that I was already really like thinking about, like the melodies that they were doing were something I was thinking about. So I immediately attached to that. But obviously, yeah, I mean, you look at Bob Marley and the way he performed and the incredible music. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't in some way influenced by him. One reason why I really love Bob Marley is the fact that he mixed things up. He was he started out doing ska and then roots reggae, but then you look at some of his stuff like in his later life, and there's like funk, and there's some songs are just acoustic. Like that's what I love about it, and I think that's something that we always strive to do too, right? And just like mix it up. There's no sorry if I'm going on and on, but there's no limitations on the Unified Highway sound. Like we do whatever we think sounds good. So that's the greatest part.
That's actually going to this next question, which is good. Was it more challenging having the freedom to make any sound you want versus trying to stick with the Revolution sound, or do you feel like shackles were taken off?
I think shackles. Well, okay, I take it back. Listen, the first couple of Revolution albums were pretty roots reggae, and it's because I was listening to pretty much strictly roots reggae at the time. And then as the albums kind of progressed, I was incorporating all the other musical influences that I grew up with and stuff I was getting back into, like whether it's hip hop or pop or rock, right? Even like heavy metal a little bit. So I think that just over time, I became more comfortable introducing the stuff that I've always listened to. And then when Unified Highway formed, it was already at a point where I felt really comfortable to just fuck around and do whatever I wanted to. So,
well, we also warmed it up. I mean, okay, just to go back, so we went on that first tour. That tour was cool. I was like, I don't think we were really doing music together yet, but everybody was vibing, right? So it's like I ended up doing the Safe and Sound remix. You like that a lot, so you're like, okay, this dude Amp is cool. We went on
Hmm.
tour. We ended up making a Zion I song that featured you, and then I ended up. Then I did some Revolution songs, and then I did a song off my album Headphone Concerto that featured you called
Hmm.
Signs. So by that
That's right.
point, we had like about 6 or 7 years of making music together. So I think like when we came together, not only was I like part of kind of like the Revolution crew in a way, but also Eric had been a part of my world. So we kind of approached this from a level of like understanding each other's music. So it didn't kind of just go all over the place.
Yep.
So everything was just really natural. Like I didn't even think of the Revolution sound not being involved because it kind of was. If it was, it was. If it wasn't, it wasn't. Like it's kind of up to just the songs we were doing. But
Right. Amp, why don't
yeah, I
you
feel
answer
like
this
it's real
question
natural.
that Dancer Face Off just asked? Who are you influenced by?
Am I influenced by it? Man,
Yeah.
I am. It's hard because I've been making music for a while. So when I say this, it's kind of the cliche answer now, which is I'm into everything, and it's true. But when I first started doing music, a lot of producers weren't. Like if you're doing hip hop, that's what you're doing. And you know, if we have any Zion fans out there, you know, like those first few albums had drum and bass and all types of crazy stuff on it. And we were told not to put that stuff out, and we still did it because it's just like I loved all types of music and infusing it. So honestly, like I listen to everything that has a good feeling and that invokes some kind of emotion. It could be like the hardest, like punk, like Dead Kennedys, old school, or anything like that, to the craziest electronic dubstep, to like I listen to a lot of classical music, a lot of jazz. So it's kind of all over the place for
Nice.
me, honestly. You know, that's why it's hard for me to pick a favorite producer or anything like that because you could pick something from anybody that like inspires you.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, Amp, you already know this, but like I was saying, Don Carlos influenced me in reggae. Straight up, Zionite influenced me from the hip hop world. So
Oh, nice.
before I even met Amp and before Unify Highway even formed, like I was already a fan of what you guys were doing. I actually was in high school listening to Zion, and I can't believe like I already have 2 albums with you, man. I'm a big fan. Can I get your autograph?
Yeah. Yeah, sure, man. I'll send it to you. Maybe a couple of weeks. Yeah. All right, so let's get back to this. Who picked "Losing My Religion" to cover Erica Amp? Plans for more. Thank you. That's a good one. That was me.
That was that was
It
Amp's
was.
idea.
I
Um,
was a R. I've been a big REM fan, and I was just laying in bed, and I woke up, and I was like, "We should do a "Losing My Religion" cover." So yeah, just kind of. I
I
told
like,
Eric, and Eric was like, "Oh, yeah."
yeah. I mean,
And I was surprised.
I was familiar with the song, just kind of listening to music from the '90s, kind of growing up in that era, and I was already a fan of REM. I like a lot of their songs, but I never thought to cover that song. And I was, when you first were like, "Let's do this," it's like, all right, it's a good song.
Yeah,
Not, it wouldn't be my like choice to cover it, but then I'm so glad that we did because of how different it is from the original.
yeah.
Um, and the same thing kind of goes for "Are You That Somebody."
That was
The
Eric's idea.
That was my idea, so it's cool. Amp did "Losing My Religion." I brought "Are You That Somebody" to the table. And not to shift the question too much, but that song, I mean, I think a lot of you guys know that song, but such a great vibe. And then I was like, I could easily kind of make this reggae. Um, I just told Amp, I was like, hey, what if we make this a little bit more reggae feel? And then Amp took it in this, great direction, got some great players to play on top of it.
Yeah.
And I love the way that song came out. So I saw a couple comments are like, we love that cover. So thank you for listening to it. Yeah.
All right, let's
Let's see.
see. Amp and Red concert gets postponed.
Why don't we talk about Unique, the music video, Unique?
Yeah. So Unique was something that was brought together by the universe. Like I when we when I first made that beat, Eric got on it the next day because he came over to like do some music. We basically just made this track, and I sat on it for like 6 months, and I had been working with Reverie. I met her. We did a couple of songs together, and I was just like, dude, she would sound perfect on this track. And I hit her, and it took like 8 months to get her on it. And I thought, honestly, it just wasn't gonna happen. So I gave it to other people. It didn't work out, and then she just hit me up. She's like, "Hey, I want to do that track." I was like, "Yes, this is supposed to be." I gave it to her. She liked it. She busted it out, and yeah, it happened.
Nice.
That track was made like early on when we were working on the album, and it just sat around. So I'm glad it came together.
I love that song. I remember you made the program drum loop, and I was playing guitar to it, and immediately I was like, this song is unique, and I was like, well, what if I just call the song unique, make the chorus with the word unique, and unique's kind of a weird word, right?
Yeah.
But for some reason, it just kind of works with the song. It felt like I couldn't think of anything else over that song at that point. So I remember we kind of came up with a song on the spot, and I felt like magic was made. That might be my favorite Unified song. I say that about every new song that we make, but that one I really love. So, all right. What's the next question here? What song did you guys like working on the most from the Unified album? Yeah, it's probably Unique. From the last album, I love the song Never the Same. I think it might be the last song on the album. It's featuring
Sophia.
A girl named Sophia Scott, who's such a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
And that's an artist that Amp Live you introduced me to. But just, I don't know, like it's kind of like got a sorrowful mood to the song, but man, I love how unique that song is too. So what's next for Unified Highway?
Well, let me talk about this a little bit for best songs, because this one I told you a little bit about it. You're like, oh really? But I think you don't remember. But like the song Headline, I made that beat like when we first started working on the album, and I was like, dude, this song right here, this track just kind of just gives the vibe of the whole album. Like
Nice.
This is so perfect for Eric. And we were texting each other. I was like, yo, I'm gonna send you something. And I sent it to you, and you stopped texting me. I was like, oh man, he didn't like it. And then like a year or so later, I was like, hey man, I can't believe you fronted on this beat. I'm gonna send it to you again just so you can check it out. And I sent it to you like, yo, what is this? This is tight. This and that. I was like, dude, I sent it to you before, and you didn't. You're like, I didn't get it, man. It's like, oh man, awesome. So I really like that.
Music,
I really love
what kind of mood you're in, and like where you are at that moment. What's going on?
I don't think he got the track though. I think like you probably just skipped over it by accident. So that's good though. All right, more questions.
Let's see here. What's next for Unified Highway? Well, as you guys know, it's a pretty crazy time. The music industry has been hit pretty hard. We don't really know how many live concerts are going to be happening over the next year. So we're kind of just playing things by ear. I know that when Unified Highway does perform, it's a big deal. We've only performed about 5 or 6 times, and every time it just gets better and better. So we're looking forward to performing some of this new material. I think things are probably going to stay quiet for a little bit, which means that there's going to be hopefully some live stream performances. I think that's probably in the future for Unified Highway and Revolution.
No, that'll be fun. Yeah.
And Amp, I see you already doing the DJ sets. I got to get on that. But so hopefully we could perform some of these songs on a live stream. I think you guys would love that. And honestly, we would love it because we miss performing straight up. Like I certainly miss performing with Reb and Unified Highway. Like that's where I really can express myself, is on stage. And it's difficult to do it through here. Like I try my best, but you know what it's like. There's nothing like getting on stage and hearing the crowd sing back to you, right?
Yeah, I mean, being on stage, I mean, but you know, this is the thing about it, and I've noticed this, like some artists don't like being on stage. So being on stage is not necessarily part of being an artist. I think you have to love it. And I actually like it too. So it's just something that I think is there's nothing like it. It really helps your music and it really helps you connect with fans. So I can't wait to do it again. That actually goes into the next question is will Revolution and Unified Highway ever be on the same stage?
Hell yeah, hell yeah. I saw a question too
That'd be
that was,
interesting.
is Revolution supportive of Unified Highway? And the answer is absolutely yes. Super supportive. They love. I mean, Amp Live is basically Revolution family. Unify Highway is Revolution family. The Unify Highway fans are Revolution family. It's all one love. It's all one family, and
It's all the same thing.
absolutely, yeah. So that's an easy question to answer. Um, what else we got here?
Favorite quarantine hobbies.
Well, I think I'm probably similar to you, Amp, but writing a lot of music. Me and Amp are exchanging music back and forth all the time. I asked Amp to help produce a song for the next Revolution album. So I started working on something that he sent me recently. And uh, I don't see why we can't be working on the next Unified Highway album at the same time, too. So constantly making music, trying to stay healthy. I've been doing a lot of yoga at home. Um, so
I've been doing a lot of yard work and definitely a lot of, you know, hobbies that deep in my heart I wanted to do, but just didn't have the time, like driving remote control cars and drawing. You know, I'm actually building a new MIDI controller, so I'm excited
nice,
about that. And
nice.
yeah, finishing projects. Honestly, it's weird because even though like what we do, we're kind of on our own schedule. Like being in this position where you're kind of just now even more open, it opens up the door a lot more for all kinds of stuff to happen. So your day actually goes by really fast because you have all the stuff you're doing because now you have time to do it. It's been really interesting.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that. I thought that like during this period it's gonna be like, oh man, I'm gonna be at home and I'm it's just gonna be so much music and this and that. And it's actually kind of been a struggle sometimes because you're like, oh man, I'm at home, so I can learn how to make this dish and I could do this and
yeah,
then I could, you know, and then you're not around people. So it's kind of like that's kind of messing with you. And now you're, you know, everybody's doing live streams and all that stuff. So it kind of, you know, it kind of makes your day
yeah,
full. So it's been really interesting.
yeah. Well,
Let me
one thing I
see.
left out was I've seen a couple questions and what's it like being a father, and now I can relate to Amp Live. I just had a baby boy, so I've been really busy, just loving being a dad, and yeah, it's really you know, everybody always tells me how incredible it is to be a parent, and there's nothing quite like that feeling, and it's been inspiring uh, to write music. It's just an overwhelming feeling of love that you get when you look at like a child, any child, whether it's yours or somebody else's, and the innocence, um, just seeing them smile and laugh. I mean, it's just such an incredible feeling. It makes you just it makes you love life, honestly, no matter what the times are. And I've always liked being around kids, but now that like every time I look at my son, I'm just like incredibly happy. So I'm so thankful, so blessed. So that's been taking up a lot of my time. I didn't mention that, but it's been good.
It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing,
Yeah.
brother.
Um,
Yeah.
let's see what else we got here.
Dad's crew in the house. Yep. Daddy's in the house. I think being a, you know, it's crazy. I think being dad in the music industry now is way more cooler because like I think parents and kids have a lot more in common now, which has created like different issues, but overall, I think it's been a cool thing. Like my parents definitely weren't listening to hip hop. They definitely weren't listening to like the stuff that I was listening to. They definitely weren't playing video games. They weren't wearing earrings and having tattoos and stuff. And now it's like you look at a parent and a kid, it's almost the same thing. Like they'll both be banging hip hop with just a little
Right,
bit of difference, you know. So I think
right,
like it's transferred into like how, especially in the music industry, like parents are kind of looked at. Like being a parent isn't uncool. It's just what kind of parent are you, you know? So I think it just it's crazy how it's changed. But yeah, dads and moms in the house.
right on. All right, what
Right
else we
on.
got? What
Next
else we
question.
got? Um, do you have any suggestions for up and coming artists to help them succeed in the music industry? Man, I love answering this
Oh yeah,
question
that's a good one.
because, well, for me, for Revolution, it was about giving away free music as much as possible, and this was kind of before streaming was available. So what we did is we just made as many demo CDs as possible, handed out to everybody at shows, at festivals. We hustled big time. But now that there's streaming and you could put your music up online, I think today is even a better time to get your music out there. So I wouldn't worry about trying to make money off it immediately. You got to get the sound out first of all. That's the first thing I would say. Second thing is be yourself. Make music that sounds good to you. Don't try to hit like a certain demographic. You have to like the music. You can't do it because someone else had success off a certain sound. Make your
Yeah.
music you, not somebody else. What else, Amp?
So I mean, look, this is so important. First thing is do the music you love. I know it seems crazy, but right now is the best time in the history of music to be doing music because you can do anything you want and put it out. All you have to do is connect with people who love it. And the crazy thing about it is just to dive in a little bit about making money. Dude, if you get 100 people to give you $10 for any of your content or anything you've done, you've made some money, you know? That's what I mean. Like you could have a fan base of 1,000 people and you can make over $100,000 a year. That's what I'm saying. Like you have to make the music you love and connect with people who are going to enjoy that music because that's what music is. It's kind of like a connecting force. So first and foremost, do what you feel and just do it well. And the money will come, all that will come, but you have to focus on doing something that's you because we're all different. We all have something in us that nobody else has. So it's up to you to bring it out and make it your butterfly. So it's like, I know it seems hard. I know some, people, they've been posting stuff for 3 years and their numbers are barely going up and all that. But you have to love doing this and you have to realize like it takes time, just like any other career. Like to become a doctor, it takes 8 to 10 years. If you want to be a manager at a bank, it takes 5 to 6 years or something. Music is the same way. Like you have to keep pushing at it and really build things slow, and you'll see. You'll see like something will happen. Maybe it's not as big as you want it to be, but or maybe it's even bigger. But it's definitely it's gonna be something that you really can champion because it's all you. You know?
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
I like that answer a lot. I think you just have to really love what you do also. If you love what you do, it's going to show through your performance. It's going to show through the music that
Yeah.
you write and create. And then it's going to lead to other opportunities, right? Like, Amp, if you didn't tour back in 2010, we never would have met. We never would have had 2 albums out. Uh, Putting in work leads to new opportunities. That's just kind
Yeah.
of, and that's not even just the music industry. It's kind of life. You have to put yourself out there and get experience. And once you get experience, you become better at what you do. And when you become better at what you do, people get attracted to that. And yeah, so
All right. So we got two one of the same question, two different people. What is your favorite dog choice? DAW, for those of you guys who don't know, DAW is, what music program do you make music in, basically? I'm Ableton all day. Ableton. Yeah, some Pro Tools, but Ableton is my thing.
I use Logic, which is an Apple program, and
Ableton.
I'm not very good with Logic, but it's enough to get my ideas out. And usually when I'm writing, I use it, and then it's a way to kind of show the rest of the band or show Amp what I'm working on. But at some point, I will give it to Amp, who is a way better engineer and way better at organizing. What's the word? And but the problem with me is I'm very unorganized, and I get a little frustrated with the electronics of things. I definitely think I shine more in just the performing aspect. So if I can perform something live, I think I thrive in that environment.
I might start messing with Fruity Loops, but overall, at this point, man, it's not the DAW, it's like how you use it, honestly. I mean, people are doing some wicked stuff with like vocal loopers and stuff like that, All right, let's keep going, right? How do you guys choose who to collab with or feature?
Well, it's kind of we talk about it internally, right, Amp? I mean, me and you will sit down and we say, hey, we have this verse, and who do you think would be good on it? And man, I think our collaborations are kind of all over the place. We have hip hop artists, we have like soulful singers, we have Jamaican dancehall artists. That just kind of goes to the Unify Highway sound. We're not going to limit this to one person. Can we talk about the collaborations on this next album? Like who else do we have besides Reverie, of course? I know we have Del, the Funky Homo Sapien, one of the original members of the Hieroglyphics, and he's on a song with Kareem Israel from a group called Arise Roots. Together, we have him on a track called Higher Than High. It's one of my favorites on the album. And who else do we have, man?
We got Beebs. Beebs from
we have Courtney Jr. from New Kingston again. He was on our last album.
All the Unified albums, yeah.
Yep. Million Styles.
Million Styles, yeah. Big ups to Eric Hirschhorn and Zach for hooking us up with the horns. A lot of the horns on the album. Johnny Cosmic helped out with some of the production, which was tight.
Yep.
And we just kind of reached in our pockets of homies that we work with. That's the cool thing about doing music is like eventually you'll have a community of people that you just vibe with and you just work with them. So we usually just dip in that.
Yeah. Listen, I'm sure all you guys know this that are tuning in right now, but the new album comes out tomorrow. It's called Headlines. We love this album so much. We're so glad that it's going to be finally out there. Once it's out there, please just write to us and let us know, like on a comment, what your favorite song is and kind of what you've been playing during this time, because we're always curious what you guys gravitate to. So let's see. We got a couple more questions to answer. Yep.
Yeah, we can get deep with it. Some people are asking some deep questions, like how do we feel about the government and what's going on right now with the pandemic? I know we want to open up this can of worms.
Maybe we'll answer.
If you listen to the music, then you'll be able to answer that question. Put it like that.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah. What process do we go through when we're making new songs?
Let's see. I mean, a lot of it is what we see around us, our conversations that we have with people, our experiences. I know that what's been happening in the news lately, it's certainly really inspiring. I think way before this whole coronavirus thing hit, I was really questioning kind of what we're learning about, what the media feeds us. you go to one like news outlet and it's giving you information, and then the other one's giving you something completely different, and then you start to learn that they're constantly just kind of feuding. One always has this certain information, one is the other. So it's important to question things, and sometimes it makes me angry. And then I was like, well, I think it's more important to be smart about things instead of letting constant media and news just influence the way that you feel. Instead of making me angry, like, why not actually analyze it, be smart about things, and then in turn really look out for the people around me, friends and family. That's the most important thing. It's really the kind of what I really want to focus on, is encouraging you guys to look out for the people around you that are close to you. It's so difficult to make such an impact, like with one statement for everybody. Start slowly, start in a community feel, and then watch it grow. It's just like the way that music spreads. Make a difference on a local level. And I kind of feel like that's kind of Unified Highway. We feel like we have such a unique, our fans are so dedicated to this sound that I know that you guys will spread it to other people, and we thank you guys so much for that. I feel like not a lot of people still know about Unified Highway, right? And as it's spreading, we owe it to you guys, really. Word of mouth has been spreading this message, this vibe. And so thank you guys very much for doing that.
Yeah. Let me tell you, this guy right here, Eric, is a musical genius. Like, look, when we did the first album, I will never forget this. This never happened, dude. We're like, okay, I'm going to come over for 2 weeks. We're going to vibe. We're going to make all this music, whatever. And I was like, okay, man, we're going to be getting the trenches. So remember, I came over the night before. I set up the equipment. Like, literally, when we sat down, I played. I didn't play anything. You just got the guitar, and then you start playing the melody for MySpace. I was like, dude, that's it. And we just made MySpace. I was like, holy cow, this is gonna be crazy experience. So it's like making songs is really easy. I think the hardest thing, I know this sounds crazy, the hardest thing is finishing them, because some of them just sound so good. Like, my only took me to finish the production, it took like 5 months. And I was so mad at myself because I ended up taking that song a whole other direction and then bringing it right back by the end of the 5 months. And I was just like, why did I spend 4 months on doing all these changes when it's so simple and this is what it is, So it's like, and it was only like that because the melody and his vocals were just so high. I was just like, dude, we got to make this like the tightest song possible, So
I love the way that one came out. Someone asked where we filmed that music video, and it was in Hawaii.
Hawaii.
That's right. Yeah.
So, let's see. We got some good ones in here. Smile, Anthony. I always smile. Can you talk about your involvement in the Last Prisoner project?
Yeah, I could talk about that. Basically, that nonprofit is trying to get nonviolent cannabis prisoners out of prison, which is where they should be. It's crazy that cannabis is legal in some states, and then in those states you have people still in prison, some for life sentences, which is just crazy to me. So we're trying to get them out, and a lot of it is just fundraising, lawyer fees. A lot of them don't know that they're eligible for expungement. And I got involved at the Last Prisoner Project from my manager, Dean Reyes, who's on the board of the Last Prisoner Project. Revolution, we've been big cannabis advocates from the very beginning, so it doesn't really...
What's your favorite strain, by the way?
My favorite strain? I like Vancouver. Yeah. I don't see it around too much. It's a very uplifting sativa. But what I was going to say is, Revolution, we have our own cannabis products out there. We have like a little vape pen, and straight up, like, we're not making a lot of money off of it at all, but we make some money. And people were just trying to make money off of selling cannabis back then, and they're in prison for it. That's crazy to me that they're still in prison. So it doesn't feel right making money off cannabis knowing there are people in prison for doing the same thing. I don't care whether it was illegal back then. It never should have been illegal in the first place. a lot of them are just like your neighborhood dealer, you know? So like that could happen to me. Could have happened to other members of Revolution that used to deal back in the day. I'm not going to mention names, but you know, a lot of people are just selling medicine to other people. So it's crazy to me that people are locked away for it. So you know, I've always been a big cannabis advocate, always will be, and we got to get these people out of prison. Bam. But what else we got here?
Okay, so this is one that keeps on coming up. Where can we buy merch and other Unified Highway stuff? Just go to unifiedhighway.com. You can find everything there. We got new t-shirts, all kinds of stuff for this project. You could also stay on our Instagram. We'll be posting stuff. Please, if you guys buy the merch, send pictures and I'll post them on the Instagram, or we'll post them up. And yeah, just go to unifiedhighway.com and just stay tuned for new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, merch is important. Eric, sweet name. I love the music. Amp, any thought on performing vocals and future songs? Oh, hey. Well, listen to the new album. Might be surprised. A little something, something there. Well, no, I have a horrible voice.
No, you don't, man. You actually, I've been trying to encourage Amp to do a little vocals. Yeah, that's true though. You are on this album. Amp's on there a little bit. I don't know if it's rapping. I don't know if it's singing. It's kind of your own little unique style. But just to summarize, you guys, new album comes out tomorrow. Headlines. It's our second album. You guys already know this, but we love this album even more than the last one, and it's just really exciting. I'm really excited to hear what you guys like. We're excited to play these songs live. Now we have 2 albums to play live, not just one. We don't have to do any covers. Man, we could do an entire hour-and-a-half set of just these 2 albums, and it's going to bump. So I can't tell you how excited we are to perform this stuff live when we can. Please be on the lookout for a live stream eventually. Currently, I'm tuning in from Guam, but I am moving back to California when things kind of lighten up a little bit with what's going on. Me and Amp are going to get together in LA, and we're definitely going to have to do a live stream of this album. That's for sure. Yeah. So please be patient like you have been with this album, and just be on the lookout for some more material coming your way, okay?
Oh, just to go back to the merch thing. So right now the merch is being added to the site, but if you go to our Instagram and you pick in the bio link, you click in there, there'll be an order form that you could choose to get the merch. So just stay on our Instagram for right now and just click on the link in the bio. Let's see. Let's see if we can do a couple more here, right?
Yeah, we got time for 2 more.
Let's see what we got here. You guys are asking some good questions. Keep it coming. Any Unified Highway vinyl plans? I think so. I think we got some in there.
Yeah, I think we do, if I remember correctly. Let's see here. I saw a comment that someone is tuning in from Japan, which is pretty cool.
That's right.
I didn't think we had anybody, any big fans from Japan. So big up Japan. Big up all the international Unified Highway fans. We know that you guys are out there, so thank you for tuning in.
Can you guys explain the album cover? That was, yeah. I mean, designer, you know, the album cover, it took us a while to the album cover, honestly. Shout out my boy Anthony, though, from IMG, Ineffable Music Group. He ended up bringing that concept, and you know, we wanted to kind of feel like a newspaper, but just not be as close as all the newspaper albums. So it's kind of like throwing a whole bunch of just headlines type vibes together to make it look cool. So it's not anything really deep behind the cover necessarily. We just wanted it to kind of fit the music a little bit. So nothing too crazy about that.
You know, I think just talking about the album title, headlines, we haven't really discussed it in depth, but you look at the headlines and it's always something super negative. It's always alienating some sort of group or putting the blame on something. Guys, fuck that. The headlines should be something positive. It should be focusing on something good. It should be focusing on the power of diversity, the power of music, spirituality. No one's, if everybody looks at the headlines and sees this like terrible things going on, who's going to go out into the world and make it a better place? Who's going to go out and make a difference in their community? If they see a good story about someone doing that, they're going to want to do it themselves, man. So these media outlets, the newspaper, the headlines are terrible. And I really feel like the music, the stuff that we're talking about, that should be the headlines. We're creating our own headlines with this album. And no matter how small it is, we don't care. We're relying on you guys to spread it by word of mouth. You know, let's start thinking positively and making a difference on that local level. And it starts with just influencing the people around you, your friends and family. Go out and do it. And hopefully this music empowers you to go do so. So that's the concept behind headlines. We want this to be the headlines, celebrating diversity, celebrating who we are and the power of unity. So anyway.
What's your drink of choice?
Drink of choice? Like,
yeah.
Let's see.
That's not a bad question.
No. What, you started?
I mean, man, you know how I am. I'm like, you know what I really like? I'll never forget that beer that you gave me, Bay, with the wild. What was it?
Oh, the 21st Amendment. Yeah,
yeah, dude, that beer was off the hook. I haven't been able to find anything like that since then.
Yeah, that's a seasonal one. I'm gonna say my favorite drink is Take on Anything IPA, which is the Revolution IPA. It's a very fine IPA. I gotta say, really Rory and Wes from Revolution, they're the beer geeks, and not only are they like beer collectors, but they were responsible for coming up with the recipe of Take on Anything IPA. We worked together with Lost Abbey, and like straight up, those two guys were behind like the recipe, which is pretty amazing to me. They really take pride in coming up with that. So I'm gonna have to shout out Take on Anything IPA.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Any more? Guys, this has been pretty cool, man.
Yeah, this has been good.
You guys, oh yeah, pre-order link is in the chat, so that's good. Oh, first of all, shout out to Easy Star Records, putting out the album. They've been awesome. CP Management, Ineffable Music Group, just anybody who's helped us put this project out and helped with the first project. Thank you very much. And it takes a team, so we appreciate that.
You guys, this has been great. I think we're going to wrap things up, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. Headlines out tomorrow. Please drop us a comment. Let us know your favorite song, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook. We're going to be checking in and stay in contact. We hope to do a live performance of this album, hopefully a live stream so that you guys can hear this stuff live. So
we'll definitely be doing stuff from the Instagram, other live streams, and just stay tuned with us. We appreciate it though.
You guys, thank you so much. This has been great. We'll see you again soon. Much love. All right.
Peace. All right.